Hello everyone out there on YouTube, this is me, Blame Others, and today we have...
Insane Spyro again.
Yes. Well, it's usually
I'm his
him.
only friend.
Well, no, because I only play certain games. What was I gonna say? But today, we're gonna be talking about what we were talking about in the last video, being some ideas for map improvements for Royale. Right, Mitchell?
Yep.
And, so, the reason why for this one is, well, we just like coming up with ideas for one, but second, is because the map kind of has the issue of becoming pretty stale because the way the map is laid out, the two biggest spots people will always go to is Lumber and Crossing. Um, is it Lumber Mill, Lumber Falls? What's it called? Sort of like the full name. I don't have the
Lumber.
map open. No, like it's called
I don't know. Everybody just calls it Lumber.
Yeah, everyone
It's
just calls it Lumber, but like the official name, if you just look right in the middle of the map, you'll see it. And the problem is that everyone always goes to those two places because they're right in the middle of the map. They have a lot of houses and a lot of areas that you could potentially fight from. So people are always just very tempted to always either land there or, if nothing else, always rush there right after you land. And while that's like not game breaking, it does make the game feel kind of
repetitive.
Yeah, I was trying to look for the word. It does really make the game feel repetitive. And okay, yeah, it's a battle royale. You're gonna do the same, rinse, wash, repeat. But like you should at least feel like you can mix it up a bit. And we do try to mix it up, even though Sparrow never wants to land what's it called, Sentinel or anything for fun.
Because I know, mate, like, it's when we landed in the other places yesterday and it's like, oh look, nobody's here, and the whole, unlike Fortnite, the entire point is, hey, if you want to win, you need the best shit. To get the best shit, you need shards. To get shards, you gotta kill people. And oh look, you landed in Old Manor, nobody's here because they all went crossing. Oh, you landed in Guntown, nobody's here because they all went crossing. So it's like, I could land with you. I could land Sentinel as a joke, but then you might as well just throw the match away because.
Well, unless we wanted to do the white weapon challenge, Mintaporo.
Yeah, but like if you're not, then like landing in Sentinel, you might as well just throw the match away because nobody's going there.
So yeah, so like it's just some ideas basically just to throw out there just for, what could they do to like make other areas more tempting? Maybe an idea for a replacement for the middle of the map, because the middle of the map is always going to be a key location. No matter if the circles never end there, no matter if the circles always try to avoid ending there, like the middle of the map is the middle of the map. No matter what. So I'm just gonna leave with my idea. And that's gonna be adding water, maybe a water mechanic, not a whole water like diving system and everything, because like I'm being realistic, Realm doesn't have all the support in the world right now, and something like that would be massive. But definitely if they just add an effect to, if you're standing here, something happens. I think I think that's a good idea. So the basic idea was potentially remove Lumber, because it's the one literally right in the middle, and set up like a lake, or like maybe if you want to lead it more so into the desert, make it lean that way, like an oasis. Yeah, like right before you get into the actual desert. And basically it'd be this. There would always be a golden chest in the middle of the area, and you would, what's it called? And you would be able to always go get it, but it's very risky because it's gonna be right in the middle of the water. Even if mages with flies should not be able to reach it. You could you could ride on your horse through the water because it's just gonna be like shallowish water. You can ride through it, but what's it gonna say? But if you get shot, knocked off your horse, and you're in there, you're gonna be slowed, and maybe even just to be kind of like doubly unfair, maybe even you should even be crippled or something, like weighted down. How much, bro?
I mean, basically, like, if you played Fortnite, look at what happens when you're in the water in Fortnite. Like, literally that.
And again, this is just to say this is the option to say remove something or basically replace something, and that's like an idea for that. Definitely, water could be more of a theme. A number of places. Jade also has some water theming in it, especially with the waterfall being right there. They could maybe do something with that. And it has fountains and stuff. Like there could be definitely something with that. The other aspect of trying to like get people away from crossing a number is make the other areas more enticing. Now, Sparrow has said this before that yes, they have made the other areas more enticing. They redid Guntown. Guntown used to be awful before. It used to basically be nothing there. What's it gonna be? See, and Fungal. They made Fungal more interesting because now it wasn't just like just a couple houses with mushrooms around. Now it's like the city is like integrated with the mushrooms. And even the Outpost, even though Outpost wasn't a huge change, at least it's different enough now, you know.
They even redid Lost Forge like a while back.
Oh yeah, and Lost Forge, but we rarely ever see it. I forget. And Lost Forge was actually like a really good one. Like it's a much better layout than what it used to be. Yeah, if you're trying to get to the forge, like the two big buildings in the back, it's kind of annoying because it's really campy. But like everywhere else is like fine. Like you can actually find things there. Before it used to be almost impossible to find any chest or like any decent amount of shards there. Now you can actually like get stuff. But like I say, so they have done some things. But like there has to be a reason to stay there. When you land somewhere, again, just like Sparrow said, you're foregoing the chance to get shards. And shards are very, very important because they determine, oh, I am crafting this versus not crafting this. I am gonna now with the new update, I'm foregoing upgrading this, especially if you get like a lucky. Say you get like a purple, I don't know, like a purple heirloom. Oh, what's that? You didn't go. You found a purple heirloom, yeah, but you didn't kill people. You don't have shards to upgrade it now, do you? Right, Mr. Poro? Like, so you know the whole issue with shards. So you have. So you really have to give people something. And this has been my idea with Sparrow. I know he said he doesn't like this idea, but I still think if it's done correctly, it can be done well. They just have to be very careful with how they do it. Maybe in certain areas, especially around the edges, maybe they could come up with some different monsters. Maybe even make elemental monsters that you can fight in those certain areas, and they'll drop you like tons of fucking loot, shards. Like they don't have to be like 10,000 health or something. Just like a decent fight where if you're not careful, like you're gonna be a bit of a sitting duck for someone sneaking up on you, you know. Or even if you're in the middle of the fight and you have all that, you say, I'm just gonna kill it because I want some stuff. Just like with the goblin, people can still come and get you. There's just a bit more of a risk for a lot more of a reward, right? Maybe, or maybe even instead of items, maybe they can give whoever gets it a buff of some kind, like a spirit buff. But Sparrow said he really doesn't like that because he doesn't like the idea of there being like NPCs.
No, here's my problem with NPCs. Again, welcome to Fortnite, kids. They did this in Fortnite with Fortnitemares, the Ice King event. There was zombies on the map, which people could kill for the challenges. Oh, you know, go shoot couple of weak zombies. Then there was the big fat bastards. Go shoot them. You get a little bit more of a reward. And then there's the guys that throw like the actual ice balls or the slime balls. That's fine. Everybody at first thought, hey, zombies, it's something extra on the map. Then it gets to the final circle, and everybody realized why this was a terrible idea. Because when you're trying to fight your opponent, you need to put all your focus onto this final guy because he's outlived everybody else. You are now both the best of the best. This guy is not going to mess around. The second you take your eyes off him, he's going to kill you. And when you're trying to fight the best guy in the game, you don't want somebody else, some crappy little NPC going, haha, I'm distracting you, I'm dealing damage to you, and that guy just basically gets the free win. Like, if you want NPCs, you got to switch them off at like the second or third circle. They cannot be in the final circle because they will just interfere with the battle, and then nobody will like the situation. So
Yeah.
that's like NPCs are fine, but they have to be done very carefully, or you just end up with the zombies from Fortnite where they'll just get in the way in the final circles and everybody will hate your life.
Let's say, yeah. The other thing too, another issue potentially be this, that especially if it is going to be like a buff system where, well, and they could drop the buff and whoever picks it up will have the buff. But if it's like an auto given thing, like if they don't want you to like double risk everything after like a risk of a fight already, it could be like, okay, well, if you kill it, you get it. But of course, that comes with, wow, what if someone snipes it away from you at the last second and they just steal the buff? It's like, that feel bad. There would obviously have to be some like anti-sniping mechanic, that, or it would more than likely be something that drops on the floor that you have to go get, which is again a bit sucky because that again means you're putting yourself in that much more risk. But you know, what can you do? It's a way to keep it fair. What about you, Mitiporo? But you had your idea for something, Mitiporo. You can have your turn, Mitiporo.
Oh yeah, I mean I've got several ideas in my bring back the engineer video. I talked about shooting a missile from Sentinel down into Goblin Gulch and making a brand new area for that. You've got that floating castle in the background, you know, the one in the skybox. Why don't you bring that 3D model over the island, slam it down into an area nobody wants? I hear that Jaguar Claws ain't that popular. Let's get a castle slammed down there. Or, you know, if Crossing's too popular, slam the castle down in Crossing.
Anything else, Mitiporo?
I mean, that's really it. I mean, then but that just comes back to like the issue of people won't like it if you remove Crossing, or you know, again, it's just the biggest problem with the map is the fact that Crossing and Lumber are connected with no obstacles. Like, you go from, say, Lost Forge to the swamp. The swamp has a big open area, lots of water, people can see you, can shoot you. Same with the desert areas. Same with even the ice areas like Ice Haven. You go from Cold Mist to Ice Haven, that's a big frozen lake with no cover. Whereas with Crossing and Lumber, they are so close to each other, and it's one quick hill ride, and like you're going to be in the other city before you get there, and that's why people land there, because it's a quick commute. You need to split the two areas. You need to like put Crossing up at Goblin Gulch, put Lumber down at Sentinel, and as Blame said, just whack a big lake, a big mountain, the castle that's floating off in the distance, summit in the middle of the map, so that it's not as easy to get from Crossing to Lumber, to disincentivize just always going Crossing Lumber, Crossing Lumber, Crossing Lumber.
Well, and another thing I kind of just thought about, It's again, this is another area I think we've mentioned at least one other time in one of the other videos before. Underpass. That underpass used to be basically what crossing and lumber are. That's what underpass used to be. Everyone and their mother landing, running towards lumber. If you could control the entrance to lumber, you had like free kills everywhere. Just
Underpass.
but just like 20, 30 people dying. Squirrel. In one spot.
I've seen it.
So my idea I just kind of thought of is again like there can't be a forge in there. They can't put a forge back in there because then it just causes this huge. It will probably potentially cause that huge surge, which wasn't fun. And also it was an awful place because if you had to go there afterwards or the circle chose to end there because there was a forge there, there would just people be camping hard. People would camp hard. It was not fun to have there. It just was not fun to have a forge there. But maybe again as a special thing, goblins are a thing that work around there. What if the mines, there were goblins mining stuff out of the walls, and they could drop stuff for you if you like pick at the walls. And I'm pretty sure I said this before. Like have people pick at the walls, dig. Maybe there just be a bunch of goblins running around there like 24/7, Mr. Sportle, or something. That they wouldn't drop you a bunch of stuff like the normal goblins would, but if you got them, they would each drop you like a purple or a rune or something, right? Like you could farm them, but if you're doing that, people will come and get you, And obviously there wouldn't be like dozens, but like there might be like 2 or 3 at any given point with a couple minutes of respawn time, right? Bro.
Yeah.
And by that point, the circle would be moving in and and like there's an idea. And again, all you would be doing is reusing the goblins. So like, I can't imagine that'd be very hard, right?
No.
One that Nuki brought up when we were talking was the beach areas, and the beach areas actually again used to be somewhat a little bit popular because there are quite a few chests that end up at the beach areas along the sides. There are quite a few chests there. Like even all the way up to Northport, along the desert, or even up to Northport, there are a decent amount of chests. But like, there's no point in being there because it's pretty open, and and it's not a good place to really be, and it takes forever to get around, especially if you don't have mount speed. My idea was, well, how about this? What if you could find bottles or crates, something that washed up, and it would have an epic or a rune or something. Again, just like a small chance of there something being there. If you get lucky enough to find one, it won't necessarily be something you want or guaranteed anything. Like, I wouldn't say let there be legendaries in there. It'll probably just be purples and runes at best. Maybe if you find a bottle, if they have bottle, maybe it'll just be like like 5 freaking. It'll be worth like 5 armor potions, something, or even 5 health potions to be fair, just so it keeps it random, right? Right, bro.
Yeah.
So if you find that, it's just like a big bottle like of potion juice, and it counts as 5. Right, bro.
That could work.
Like there's a couple things they could do with that, or again make those areas more water themed too. Have waves be able to come in, and if they splash you, they'll fully heal you. What was I gonna say? Maybe have there be fish that you could, I don't know, kill for some shards just for the lulz. Like, there'll be only be like 5 shards a piece, but if you kill like 10 fish, hey, that's 50 shards.
It's so much.
I mean, what else? Oh, my other thought was again, maybe make something similar. Maybe do some other things like the catapults, like these standing things, like like there are these structures or something that people could maybe mess around with, but they're a permanent that they can't really abuse, and that obviously that don't deal damage, but maybe do something else. Um, Definitely another theme that they could work with a theme would be fire, because we have like a lot of nature uh and let's say like a lot of nature and like mechanical stuff, but we don't have like fiery things. Like even the desert's more so like earthy, you know. But we don't really have like a fire, like a little bit of a fire area. Maybe they could turn Sentinel into like a fire area or something. Sporal. Maybe to make that more at least interesting to do.
Well, I mean that comes back to the video I made about like getting rid of Goblin Gulch for like a steampunk metal and fire citadel because
Um,
nobody goes Goblin. Nobody's going up there. And it's right next to Crossing. If you made a fire area right next to Crossing, people are beyond that.
Maybe like between the two bone areas, maybe there could be like a teleporter or something that you could like
Oh yeah.
you could like be able to teleport like all across the map, so you can meet up with your friends at each location. Obviously, that's a if you get caught doing that, you're gonna get shot at, or if the people catch you coming out, you're gonna get shot at. So I don't think it's exactly broken, you know. So like that
Yeah.
might be a neat little idea.
I think Swamp's got to have something done to it.
I mean, it. What can you really do? It maybe something plant themed, maybe.
Oh no, you know what? You
Hmm.
could go industrial again. Have like a giant toxic waste factory, so all that water is a bit more like poisonous.
Hmm. I mean, I was gonna say maybe some booby traps, cause it's kind of like jungly, swampy. Stuff can be hidden there. Maybe they could add some
Yeah.
traps. They could add some traps for, like certain areas. Like again, don't make them one hit kills, but like if it did like 800 damage to you, that's a lot of damage. You know. Um.
Just trying to... Oh no, you know the big one that you haven't said that I'm surprised you didn't go for first. Trinity.
What Trinity? Oh, they have to do is like give the area another way up. There has to be more ways up than literally just the one way. That one way that's on the other side of the forge, or you have to go literally all the way from the barn area where there's like those two barns. You have to run all the way up there. You have to run all the way from that side, all the way across both of those, all the way up the hill,
Bridges.
across the bridge to get to the forge. Like they have to add another way up. Trinity has a nice layout, but an awful pathing problem. Awful. The pathing is awful because you're just trapped in too many areas. You're trapped. They have to add more pathways. Otherwise, you're trapped. The layout is fine, but the pathing is awful. So I don't really have much to say about that one. Other than that, I mean that's pretty much it for general ideas, really. As far as I can think of. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up, then, or unless you want something else to say?
No, I think that's it. Like, there's not many other areas that are left on the map that have not at least been looked at. I think the only one left is probably just like the Frozen North, so like the Frozen Cemetery and Old Manor.
But even then, those have good circle endings, and people do land there every so often.
Yeah, so they're fine. So that's like literally it. We've been around the map.
Yep. So.
Oh no, there is one other area, Autumn Fields down south next to Sentinel.
I mean, it's a field. That's literally the theme. It's a flat, open area. Like you can't really say much else. It's a field. It's fields of like grass and plants to like somewhat be camouflaged in, but not really. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it then. We've been round the map.
So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Those are just ideas. This is kind of like a little fun little rambling video, more or less. So thanks for watching. This has been me, Blame Others,
And me and Saint Spiral.
and we'll catch you next time in the video. Bye bye.
Bye.